This is 5 days live, day 3, and today you can see I'm surrounded by Bridgetti, Tina and Angeline, but my job is not to be on screen. My job is to go down in the lobby, so I'll disappear, and if you need me, just shout. Okay, over to you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of 5 Days Live. It is awesome seeing you all here again, and I am Bridgetti Banda from Cape Town in South Africa, and I'm going to let the other two ladies quickly tell us what their names are and where they are from.
I am Angeline Longshore, and I'm in Maui, Hawaii. It's 5 a.m. I'm awake.
Awesome.
And good mid-morning from sunny and sweltering South Florida, USA. I'm Tina K. VaLant.
Fantastic. Welcome, ladies. And I'm going to say hello and give a shout out to Lottie, who's watching us live. Hello, Lottie. Good to see you. And so today we're talking about how you can 10x yourself. 10x yourself? What on earth is that? Let us break it down a little bit for you, because you must be wondering, what exactly is 10xing yourself? So each one of us is going to share different aspects of what it means to 10x yourself. And Angeline's going to talk a little bit about personality types and how that relates to your ability to 10x yourself. Angeline, enlighten us.
Yes. So to me, 10xing yourself is something that I've thought about for a long time. I actually coined the phrase, I believe. It's because, I have to give you a little bit of tough love here, actually. I hope you don't mind, not you ladies, but you audience. So many people, there's so many people going live. There's so many people who can just pop on and do Facebook Live. And basically, not many people care if it's not very interesting. So the reason why you need to stand out, 10x yourself, is because you need to stand out. You need people not only just to see you and not only just to know that you're there, not stand out in that way, but to actually bond with the audience, to actually, mean something to them. And in order to do that, you need to build some kind of rapport. And that means, and also in this day and age, you need to be entertaining. So there's so many things to watch, so many programs, hey Lottie, so many people to see online that, it's very precious time for each person when they watch your video, when they watch your show. So it's really important to actually do something to engage them. And a lot of people, they put on a persona. They say, okay, I'm going to be like a broadcaster. I'm going to be like someone big. And that works if you're already that way. So 10xing yourself is really taking the person that you actually are, figuring out what that part of you is that is going to be magnetic, and then blowing that up. You know how people say 10x your business? Let's 10x our business. Let's blow it up. That means make more revenue. Well, this is about 10xing yourself, about really engaging people. Hi, Franco. And so, we want to do that. We want to figure out what it is. So what I'm going to share with you today are the 5 charismatic personality types. And most people have at least one of these, but maybe a combination more so. And so I'm going to, and Stephen is going to be with me to show you some of these different types. So the first type is the authentic type. Yes, thanks, Stephen. Now, these people, Jon Stewart, Ellen DeGeneres, Joe Rogan, Jennifer Lawrence, and Barack Obama, they are these people that are so real. And we build a rapport with them because if you can think about it, if you watch any of these people, a few of these are talk show hosts, the first 3. Now, they endear you because they are so honest. You just feel they're so real. And so you almost sense that you could just like sit on the chair with Ellen and get into her studio and just talk with her, right? And that it would be
Absolutely. That you 100% correct there. because she's got that very engaging kind of personality, and that's exactly what you want.
Exactly, exactly. And so, yeah, if Ellen were not so engaging, sometimes I don't know, like something she says are like, okay. And that's the thing with authentic types. There's with each of these personalities, there's always, if you are only one and you go hard at being one, which is what you want to do, identify who you are and double down on it. But you also want to think about if you go too far with it. So with the problem with authentic types, and you've seen some of these people on Periscope, I'm sure. Think about Periscope when you think some people are so authentic, but they share too much. They don't discern what it is to be tactful or to have, somewhat social graces to them as far as what they share, how much they share. So you want to kind of temper that and be professional and be inspiring, as Tina always is. She's always about inspiration, and ladies go live. Inspiration.
You always want to say you want to be authentic, but in a professional way. You don't want to be too professional so that you sound stiff and formal and you lack engagement, but you want to be careful about what you portray.
Totally.
I think that's basically it, nutshells it.
Yeah. I mean, think about being a talk show host. You just want to do something that's appropriate to your show, because every show will be a little different. Okay, so moving on to number 2, Stephen, the self-assured type. Now, if you look at these people, let's go to the self-assured. The other one. There we go. Okay. So the self-assured type, here we see Simon Cowell, and we see 3 guys at the bottom. Now, the man in the middle, his name is Frank Mankiewicz. He was one of the founders of NPR. He was, I'm blanking because I'm tired. He was Bobby Kennedy's press secretary. And you might hate him for this or love him for this, but he is the person responsible for the U.S. government deciding on inches and feet versus metrics, So you could love him or hate him for that. And he also is my former father-in-law. And so, he has been a leader because here's something that he told me, that if you can believe it, they can believe it, but you have to be sure of it. So it's that self-assured way about you that big, huge leaders of big companies are this way. If you think about that, anyone who is big. And I have Simon Cowell up there because the problem is that if you're like him and you go too far with it, you know how he looks that person in the eye on stage in American Idol and he says, "What did you think of your performance?" And it's a little intimidating. It almost shakes you like to the core, like, well, I thought it was good. Whatever you're thinking, you think, well, should I be thinking that? Because they're so sure of themselves. And even just an intonation of his will make you, oh, well, maybe he's more right than I am. So that's the problem with self-assured types like Steve Jobs, who I love. I just admire him. They can be so sure that sometimes I heard their staff just doesn't feel like they can speak up and put in their 2 cents. Kind of be a little bit bullyish. So that's where we want to kind of, look at some of these other ways that I'm going to tell you about that help you to temper these other traits. Okay, so number 3, the empathetic type. Thank you, Stephen. So these 2 people, do you recognize the one on the bottom? Yes, it's Bridgetti. So like Oprah. So these people value connection. And Bridgetti and I have connected in a deep way, even though we only met online. And these people, they endear people to them because of that. They're so empathetic, and they actually help people to connect deeper with themselves. So think about Bridgetti or Oprah on a talk show. She does so much more listening and asking questions and drawing you out, so much so that I know Bridgetti does this. People open up and say things that they've never said before. And so the problem is with these empathetic types is that if you only are drawing people out, sometimes if you're at a party or, even in a talk show, you don't really get noticed, for who you are, because Oprah tempers that with the next thing that we're going to talk about. Number 4, Stephen, is high energy. High energy. There it is. High energy types. So Will Smith, if you've ever seen him, and think about Oprah too, when they walk on stage, it's just like boom, you feel their presence, and they're so enthusiastic about everything happening. You just feel like, wow, and you're just, I'm sure, I see Tina smiling. You're engaged with them. You probably have seen Will Smith, like you're on a talk show. You're like, wow, suddenly you're not thinking about anything but whatever he's talking about, and you're having fun. And so they bring that positivity and that optimism, and like everything is like a yes. So they move their body a lot. They're louder in their body movements, and maybe even louder in voice sometimes than other people when they need to be, because that's that high energy. So that's who they are. If you couple that with some of these other things, then it brings something else to temper that personality that you are. So, you want to maybe identify with a couple of them and really hit those hard. Think about which go together that are actually who you are. So the high energy types, the problem with that is that sometimes you can think of people like this who are so high energy, but they lack depth. There's nothing behind that. There's no empathy. There's no reasoning. You don't feel them. You just feel like, okay, that was a lot of noise, and so you don't want to be that. You don't want to be just a bunch of noise, because people will get tired. This tough love is, Mama is telling you, you want to endear people. You want to mean something to them. And so you want to be able to bring that with the depth. Okay, so.
I wanted to mention something with the high energy people that I found. Sometimes you can be a very, very high energy kind of personality, and you bring that to the table when you are hosting a talk show, for example. Or you're not naturally a high energy, but you like people like Oprah, for example, who are high energy, or like Will Smith, and you want to emulate that because you admire them. Just know that those people, after they finish their live stream, they are completely and utterly exhausted. But not only are they exhausted, they can leave their audience feeling exhausted. So, and I love that you use the word, you've got to temper what you do, because if you don't, you can burn out very quickly, and you don't want to do that.
That's a good point. There are two different kinds of internal people. Some people are very naturally introverts, where being around a lot of people is exhausting to them. And some people, that's energizing. I think, you will know for yourself. You can't tell from the outside. Everyone's different. Whether you're high energy and you're an extrovert, and you're high energy and introvert, you can't really sense from the outside which differentiates that person. But you can, as the person being that, you can feel it after being around a party, and you're just like, oh, I just have to get home. Oh, that was fun, but it's too much, and that's me. I'm an introvert naturally, but extroverts, they can go and go and go, and they get like energized. They will always want people with them all the time, even when they're tired. I don't know how that works, but I have friends like that. I'm like, okay, I have to leave you, not because I don't love you, but I just have to go. And they keep wanting to stick around. So anyway, I don't want to take up too much time here, so I want to move on. But the next and the last part attribute is the funny type. So here we have the funny type. So with the blue and there we go. Okay, stop. Okay, thanks, Stephen. So we have Kevin Hart, again, Ellen DeGeneres. You know, that combo, that really is that authentic and really works. And also Joe Rogan, who those two, Joe Rogan and Ellen, have talk shows. Joe Rogan is a really wildly popular podcaster, video podcaster talk show for guys. And for a couple of reasons. He is one of those brutally honest people, but he also, with that, is so hilarious because you can relate to him. And he can say things that are off the charts. Like, you're like, did he just say that? But that he has heart when he said it. Because some people, they can be funny. And I'm sure you felt this where you're like cringy, where you think they're going too far. They're hurting someone. They're, so that could be the issue with those types. The guy on the bottom is my co-host for a show called Conversations with Men that women would want to hear. And he has that way where he can discern what's too much. He said before in the past he wasn't able to, but now he can, and he is hilarious because he's got that, thing, and he can put it to you in a way where you laugh and it's true, and it kind of is like, oh yeah, that's so true, but you laugh. And so it opens your heart up because you're like, okay, he is just leveling with everyone. It's not personal. He's just leveling. And it's so great. And then I have the funny guys there with it on the side, my former ex and his dad. And then in that center is All About Eve, that movie poster. And I have that because his family, his uncle, Josh on the right there is my ex. His uncle wrote All About Eve, and you can be acerbic. That wit in that entire family is acerbic. It's like sarcastic, and you just feel like, whoa, think about Betty Davis. I don't know if you're in that era, but how she would throw herself around and kind of say things that were like really kind of hard and harsh, but also like in a way with style that you just were drawn in. It wasn't only her eyes, it was what Joseph L. Mankiewicz wrote to come out of her mouth. So anyway, so you can do that. You can tell harsh truths. And the thing is, people will want to spend time with you if you entertain them. And so, these people have this sense that they have to perform, and they have to, because when they do, they see that they're making you happy. They see that love that is coming out of you, not just for them, but for yourself. It causes you joy, and they love causing joy for people. So anyway, that's the same. I feel like I'm moving too slowly, but basically we want to be entertaining. And so these personality types, you have one or more of these, probably a few. And so to identify which one of them you are truly, and then just bring that out. So anyway, that is basically the 5 personality types. And I'll toss back to you, Bridgetti.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone who's joined us now, thank you for joining us live. And I also want to welcome the replay viewers. And if you are watching us on the replay, welcome to you too. Live and replay viewers, please would you share this broadcast? We're having a blast this week with 5 days live. And today is day 3 of 5 days live. And today we're talking about how to 10x yourself with myself, Bridgetti, Banda, Angeline, Longshore, and Tina, VaLant. And we're across 3 different time zones, just in case you didn't know. We started at 5 p.m. for me today. It was 5 a.m. for Angeline. So yay, Angeline. Thank you so much for getting up at the crack of dawn, literally. And for Tina, who's in Florida, it's midday. So we're across 3 different time zones, and that's the wonderful thing about live streaming. Our audience is global. So if you've just joined us now, welcome again. We talk about 10xing yourself. So Angeline shared a little bit about the different personalities and how we can 10x our personalities, but also learn how to temper them down so that we have fun live streaming and we come across relatable and authentic to our audience. And the things I want to share about 10xing yourself, it's about the shows. Facebook says that more than 3 billion live broadcasts have gone out. So if you're part of that more than 3.5 billion broadcasts, how do you stand out? How do you make yourself seen? How do you get people to want to come and watch your broadcasts? They're very simple things. It's not rocket science at all. So the 3 things that I wanted to highlight about being able to 10x yourself or to stand out more is preparation, first impression, and being yourself, which is some of what Angeline has already touched on. So in terms of preparation, if you are not prepared, it's like when you rock up for a job interview, you are not going to land the job. You need to do your homework, go and find out about the company, know your job, find out about the culture of the business. If you don't do that, you have 0 chance of connecting with your interviewee and landing the job. And it's no different with live streaming. We will know if you're not prepared. Now, let's just understand that there's a difference between, and Angeline and I talk about this often as well, and I think Tina does that too. There's a huge difference between simply hitting the go live button on Facebook or whichever other platform you use. There's a difference between hitting go live and preparing for a show and producing a show and hosting a show. There's a huge, big difference. So if you're hosting a live stream, which is a show, a regular show, whether that's daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, but it's a regular show. For that kind of show, you want to put in some preparation. If you're having a talk show, you want to go and do your homework with regards to your guest. Find out as much as you possibly can. Not too much information so that you sound inauthentic when you're interviewing them, because you want to have some surprises and the audience can see whether or not you're genuinely surprised. But you want to have a pretty good idea of who your host is and your guest is and how to approach your guest. Then on the tech side, for example, you don't want to hit the go live button and then sit there and say, is my mouse working? Can you see me? Is my camera working? Is the sound working? Can you hear me?
I'm laughing because you see that all the time.
You see that all the time. If you do that, it means you are not prepared. You didn't do your homework.
And people will click away like that.
100%. That is, I see Tina nodding her head there as well. So it's the little things. Check your lighting. Make sure that people can see you, because if you don't look visually good, it's going to detract from your presentation. So you want to make sure that those little things look good. You want to make sure your environment is free from disruption. Unless, of course, you're doing a mom and tot show and you have little Johnny and little Jane running around, but you're doing a family show. Hey, that's good. That's okay, because it fits in with what you're doing. But if you're teaching something, you have a guest that you're interviewing, and you have little Johnny running around and pulling on your skirt and going, hey, mom, I want a juice. That's not really great. It's going to distract from your presentation. But having said that, we want to be authentic, we're real. We're not running a TV studio here. We're live, we want to be authentic, and you want to go with the flow. If something does go wrong, if you've done everything possible to make sure your environment is like a studio and it's noise free and everything runs fine, but little Johnny happens to run in, it's okay, because it's not a planned disruption. Deal with it. Be nice to little Johnny. Don't shove him away, because you also want to show your human side, and that's being authentic. So I want to use the word Angeline used again, temper. You want to temper whatever you do. Be professional, but temper it with kindness and authenticity. So preparation is absolutely key. And then the next point is first impression.
Can I add something?
Your first impression, I beg your pardon?
Oh, I just want to add
sure, go for it.
That if you're wasting people's viewers' time, they will not stick around. So think about their time. You know, a lot of times we think, oh, we need to do it for us. Actually, preparation is for them. So think about that. So they will say, oh, it's moving along. Everything's going. It's, you know, I feel like I'm engaged with the show. You know, that's what will keep them if you are prepared. Okay, so that's all I want to say. Go on.
Thanks for that. So the next point I wanted to talk about for a little bit is first impressions. First impressions count. So how do you stand out from the crowd? When you start your show the way we did it today, and I know that Angeline does that, and I know that Tina does that, and Lottie, I know that you do that. You want to introduce yourself and say, hi, I'm Bridgetti Banda from Cape Town in South Africa, and welcome to the show. Welcome to our live viewers, welcome to our replay viewers, and you make everyone feel welcome. You want to have that welcoming persona so that people don't think, well, wow, am I welcome here? Am I in the right place? Nobody's paying attention to me.
I call it inviting people into your living room.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for that. That's exactly what it is. And so when it comes to first impressions, you want to be welcoming and engaging in the way that you talk to people and welcome them into your living room, as Tina says, as Angeline said. So the other point about the first impression is that the visual bits matter. You want to make sure that your environment is welcoming, it's friendly, it's warm, it's not cold and clinical and sterile. You want to make it look welcoming, but be careful of distractions. What do we mean by distractions? Distractions is having moving bits around you, either people moving around you or objects moving around you, or having too many objects that distracts from the conversation that's at hand. Because otherwise you're also not going to stand out. You're going to be like the average Joe out there who doesn't care. You don't want to have washing, for example, your laundry piled up behind you in the background. And believe me, I've seen those on live streams. The visual bits really, really do matter. No one's going to take you seriously if you've got the vacuum cleaner behind you, if you've got your laundry behind you or whatever else, and it's just not well kept. And really, you do not have to spend a lot of money, people. It's not about how much money you spend on your background. If you can't afford anything else, if you simply have a clear wall behind you, believe me, that's better than looking at laundry. So you really do not have to spend a lot of money on that. Also, if your background is a moving target, people are going to be paying attention to your background and not to you. So you want to avoid that. The third point I want to mention in 10xing yourself is by being yourself. So it's a little bit of an overlap of what Angeline has already discussed, but you want to be raw and authentic, but in a professional manner. You mentioned, for example, Angeline, people who go live on Periscope, for example, and I've seen little bits of it on Facebook as well. You want to be authentic, but be careful. You do not need to share what goes on in your bedroom, for example, unless your show is a boudoir show. You know, or you don't want to talk about. Yes, I know I'm using an extreme example now, but you want to be raw and authentic, but temper it. Temper that down, because remember, whatever goes on video is going to be there forever. There's no erase button. There's no erase button. Zero. Be careful. Once you've put it out there on social media, it's out there. You can't take it back. So always maintain a professional persona, and it doesn't mean that you have to be stiff and unfriendly. You can be wacky and happy and welcoming and authentic without oversharing.
Good point.
The other thing that I want to touch on very quickly in being yourself is that you want to bring your uniqueness to the table. Every single one of us wants to make sure that we are ourselves, because if you try and be someone else, it's going to exhaust you. And people, I mean, Tina and Angeline, have you,
Yes.
can you tell if someone's not authentic, if they're not themselves?
Yes, I have been inauthentic myself. When I first became a TV reporter, I thought I had to put on that persona. And I was exhausted all the time, because you're just, you're looking at somebody else, a big anchor woman, and you're thinking, I need to be like that. And so I would put on that fake smile, and I would do those things and look behind me at the traffic. Here we go. Da, 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 da. And I didn't put me. I didn't put that stuff, that flavor that flavors who you are, that people go, wow, that's different, but I like it. And I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who's super fake, but you've seen them. They just get on like Facebook Live and da 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 da, and that's what I was doing. So, it's not something that it's what a lot of people do when they don't know that they have like the goods, that they are amazing. And what I want to say is that live streaming is a little bit of personal growth for people in the very beginning, because you have to search yourself to really be truly authentic, to really bond with people for who you are. And if you're not okay with yourself, then there's that layer of fakeness that you sort of put up there, because you think that that's what people want. But people actually don't want that. They will feel that barrier, and they'll say, I like something in there. They really want more of you. So that's what Bridgetti is trying to say, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I have something to add. So patient and quiet. I deal with a lot of young people as a photographer, and I always use this phrase: when you tell the truth, you never have to worry about what you said. And that goes for when you're authentically presenting yourself. You never have to worry like, oh, who I am today. We all know those people on social media, especially on Facebook, that, their life is great and here's my food and blah, blah, blah. And you know them in real life and you're like, you're a hot mess in real life. But on social media, you do this other thing, and it's like unfollow, unfriend, because you'll get found out, and you need to be authentically yourself. We're not perfect. We're not newscasters. Well, Angeline was, but people like when you stumble, when you say, when your lighting's wrong, when your desktop isn't working. So you're on laptop, which I am today. You roll with the punches, and it's so important.
Mm-hmm. So true. It's even better.
Absolutely. And the last point I wanted to share about being able to 10x yourself by being authentic is make eye connection with your guests, and watch your body language. Don't make eye connection. Pay attention to your body language. Don't slouch. Or, be interested, be attentive to your guests. Show them that you're present, that your mind is fully there. Don't be doing a live stream. Don't be doing a talk show. Don't be a host when your mind is somewhere else, because people are going to notice that. And you're not going to captivate your audience, and you're not going to do justice to your guests. So that's my last point with regards to 10xing yourself as a host and a presenter on a live stream. And Tina, I want to hand over to you because you're going to take it a little bit further. How do we 10x ourselves beyond our live stream? How do we make ourselves stand out beyond the live streaming? Because there's a whole new game ball in terms of or what we need to do after the live stream. It's not just, thank you, ma'am, we've now done the live stream and that's the end of it. There's a lot more to that. So if you could share with us how we can 10x ourselves in that respect.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to reaffirm what you said, what you both have touched upon. And I think the common chord in this broadcast and through the 5 days live is it matters how you feel and it matters how you make other people feel. One of my favorite Maya Angelou quotes is, people will not remember what you said. They will not remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And as Angeline was talking about the personality types, I am that high energy kinetic type. And I have to be very careful that I don't overpower people in real life and online, because you don't want to be like she said, oh my God, it's exhausting to be around you. My dog's trying to jump down. It's exhausting to be around you. So you want to be very careful, engage how other people's body language is reacting to what you're doing. And as Bridgetti said, I worked with somebody this week and we were doing a live and she kept watching me in the live instead of the lens. And I said, you know what, put a piece of paper or something under so you're not tempted to watch me, that you're connecting with the audience through the lens. And, you know, I was being funny doing this, but it does mean so much. And one thing I always do on Ladies Go Live is avoid the nose hair angle. So always make sure your lens is slightly higher than you, because it adds weight if you're down here. If the lens is down, and it's not as flattering. So I want to reaffirm of what you both said. So thank you for that. So a quote that I've recently really embraced, because I'm a highly creative person, is the thinkers, the dreamers, and the creatives are the new untouchables. And through using live platforms like Be Live, we can take our creativity and our thinking and our dreams and bring them and project them out into the world. I've made so many wonderful friends through Ladies Go Live. These two ladies, case in point, I met through Ladies Go Live, and we're still friends and we connected. We've never seen each other in real life, but I feel like I know them. We've been on video calls, live, and just privately, and I know their hearts, I know their minds, I know where they're coming from, I know what they're passionate about, and everybody has the opportunity to do that. And that's one thing we really try to do on Ladies Go Live, is empower people to have the confidence to go online and present your business, your creativity, your inspiration, which is inspiring and educating, or a community effort like a nonprofit or a cause like Bridgetti with the water crisis. So there's so many ways we can do it and embrace what we're doing. So I have a graphic, Stephen, and it talks about the 6 sources of influence. It can also be 6 sources of impact, 6 sources of income. And it talks about 2 charts, how you're motivated and what your abilities are, and then how it translates to personal, social, and strategizing. So you can read, go through that little chart, but it really gives a lot of foundation to, I say 10 times in yourself, because I like thinking about cloning myself. And if I'm speaking in front of a group, or I'm at my monthly women's group that I do in Jupiter, Florida, people are like, I see you everywhere. You're everywhere. You're like 20 people in one, you're here, you're there. Well, I can be in 3 places at once pretty easily, but 4 is pushing it. So how do you clone yourself online? And we talked about this briefly. I offered my phrase, so you can attribute this to me, reciprocal producing. You can align with another guest, with somebody else, and say, hey, I'd love to interview you on my show, as Bridgetti and Angeline do both exceedingly well. And they actually do a show together. So align with someone and give them reciprocal benefits. Like, how can I help you get what you want? And then hopefully they will in turn say, and now how can I reciprocate and help you get what you want? That also exposes you to their audience and them to your audience. So be careful who you align with, that you have similar things in common. You've done a little bit of background to find that they're, not a seedy background or something that you're not in line with. I'm an animal advocate. I'm a vegetarian. I really wouldn't associate with the Beef Council. I wish them well. I'm not going to discredit them, but it's not my personal choice. And be respectful of other people's choices. And let's not even talk about politics, but how many friendships have you lost over politics? I just unfriend, unfollow, snooze, hide, whatever, because life is so short. I want to keep my energy high and present, serve, share, shine, and shine light in the world. It's easy to be a naysayer and negative and talk about what's not going right. It's better to talk about what is going right. And what are you doing to change the issue or help be a solution to the problem? So cloning yourself, reciprocal producing, make partnerships and collaborations. We always say that, collaborate over compete. Don't be like, oh, well, if Angeline's doing that show, then I can't. You know what? There is more than enough for everyone to benefit. And when you come from that position of abundance, you're going to see more coming to you. Oh, I have chills. Woo! So that's really important. So always come from abundance, not greed or selfishness, and help other people get what they want. You will get what you want or something even better. So you can also, another way to clone yourself or 10x, 10 times yourself, is start to delegate things. We talk about this a lot in Ladies Go Live is it time for you to hire a VA? My best time is not working on my personal website. I have a guy that does that. So I can spend my time creatively writing, broadcasting, doing my photography, rescuing animals, raising butterflies, and the things that I enjoy doing that people, they call me the butterfly whisperer on Periscope, which cracks me up. But so many people said, I didn't know that. I mean, I could laugh every time when I think of somebody telling me, I thought butterflies were born as baby butterflies. I'm like, no, they're caterpillars first. So something that might be so obvious, I'm like, did you miss second grade?
Wow.
Something that's so obvious to us is not obvious to people all over the world. Bridgetti has taught me so much about the water crisis. I mean, I had a little idea, but I had no idea that you've got to gauge how much water you're using every day. And do I take my bath today or do I, you've got to be really conscious of things, and we can learn from people all over the world. You have a message to share, and there's someone out there that's waiting to hear it. So you need to present it in a thoughtful, sincere, and authentic way. Form collaborations with people. Look for like-minded people. Look for people that you jive with, that you just gravitate toward. I've had people tell me, oh my gosh, I love being around you because if I feel bad, you're just like a vitamin boost. You're an energy boost. Thank you. I love hearing that because that gives me energy and that makes me want to do more and be more and present more. So that's so important. When you broadcast live, you stand out. You establish yourself as an expert. If you look at the views on just our little teaser the three of us ladies did yesterday, I don't know about you, but I didn't see 72 people yesterday. But 72 people saw me. How many people are watching this? I won't see that amount of people today. But so you're 10 timesing yourself when you're putting yourself globally out into the world on a live platform, using video and repurposing it. Bridgetti talked about some really important things about did you notice that we're all wearing red? And, that's a Tina thing. And I get made fun of like, oh God, she's going to ask us what we're wearing. Look how consistent we look, and we're all on the same page. And it just shows that we're all aligned with each other. So as Bridgetti said, take the time to make that preparation and make sure go on early and say, oh, your head's too high, my head's too low, you're too close, I'm too far, and align yourself with your guests so one isn't higher and lower, so you look in a line. Another thing I see, I'm very sensitive to body language being a photographer, which Bridgetti also talked about. People tend to do this and talk through their chin. Talk more through your head and your heart and connect with people that way. It's so important. So be thinking about, what do you have to offer people? Is it a hobby? Is it an event you're going to? Is it a community organization? I interviewed a homeless guy during our Ladies Go Live challenge, just like, oh, it's community day. I've always wanted to talk to that guy. Like tons of views, and people said, I'm not afraid to talk to homeless people now. Be smart about it. is to be aware of your surroundings and what you're doing and your level of safety, and pay attention to how you feel. Do you feel like it's safe environment? Do you feel compelled or magnetized toward a person? Do you feel compelled to reach out to someone and comment on their video, on their link, on their replay, and say, wow, I really love that quote you said. Tina, I'm going to share. Don't steal. There's enough for everyone. Borrow it, take it, use it. My favorite hashtag is serve, share, shine. What are you doing to serve? How will you share it and enable everyone around you to shine? So those are my quick tips for how to 10x, 10 times yourself.
Fantastic. Those are absolutely awesome tips. And I want to give a shout out to those people who have joined us today so we can 10x our guests, our viewers. So our viewers today that I want to give a shout out to is Kelly Sade. And I want to say a huge, Stephen will come on just now, I'm sure, and join us. Stephen's put so much work into the 5 days live. Stephen, by the way, loves producing. So if you're out there and you're looking for a producer, check with Stephen. I don't know how much time he's got left, but Stephen's live almost every day of the week, literally. So I want to give a huge, big shout out and thank you to Stephen Healy, who's been the backbone of 5 days live. I also want to give a shout out to Shelley Wells, a shout out to Lottie from Ladies Go Live, a shout out to Jason Franco. Nice to see you also. And I also want to give a shout out to Jen Nelson, also from Ladies Go Live. And then I'm going to get this name wrong, horribly wrong, but here goes. From Melbourne, Australia, is Sebastian Oni. I apologize if I'm getting your name wrong, but Sebastian from Australia, Melbourne, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. And I want to thank everyone who has commented live. And if you are watching us on the replay, please do let us know where in the world you're watching from. It's always fantastic because our audience is worldwide, but it's really, really nice to know. So all you need to do, if you're watching the show on the replay, say, hi, my name is Joseph, and I am from Pennsylvania in the USA. That's fantastic. And guess what? We'll come back because we'd like to say hi to you too, because that's how we start conversations and we get new friendships. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you for participating in 5 days live. We hope you've learned something about 10xing yourself. We've talked about different aspects of 10xing ourselves. Angeline, could you give us 3 things that you'd like people to remember about 10xing themselves in terms of the different personality types that we have?
Well, I was thinking that, the person sitting at home is either someone who is already doing a talk show, or they are desperately thinking, I really want to do that. So I'm going to sit here and watch so I can learn something. And what I want you to think about is that part of you that maybe you think might be not okay to share. Maybe I've had clients who have said, I feel like my personality is too big, or I'm too weird, or I'm too this or too that. Think about that too much factor. That's the beautiful thing. So I don't know if I have 3 things, but that's one thing that I didn't say, that there's something about you that maybe you feel like you might want to hide, but that is the thing that you want to look at and say, could someone relate to that? And, just kind of check in about that and see if that's there. And I'm trying to think of there is a part of you that is amazing. You can be a quiet person. You can think that you're not a showman, necessarily. Or you can be somebody who's comfortable with being on stage, but, on live, you are there to engage one-on-one with that person. So that bond, like I was saying, that charisma is about bonding with that one person and being real and being true and being human. So those are the two things that I think I would like to leave people with. I'm trying to think if there's a third. If you want me to think of a third, I'm sure I can go on.
Temper yourself, to temper the other personalities.
What was that, Tina?
That was your other. To temper yourself and your personality to alternate personalities.
Perfect.
I think that sums it up beautifully, ladies. So if you're just joining us, this was 5 days live. And today it was myself, Bridgetti Banda from Cape Town in South Africa, Angeline Longshore from Hawaii, in Maui in Hawaii. And she got up we started the show at 5 a.m. her time. So she got up really, really early this morning. And a huge big thank you to Angeline. You look amazing. You know, you got up at the crack of dawn, but you look absolutely amazing. So thank you for
that. My brain had a few hiccups there.
And Tina VaLant in Florida in the USA. So we're from all over the world. I also want to give a shout out to RJ Redden, who's joined us. RJ, welcome to the show and thank you for joining us today. Tina, if you had to just do a quick summary of how, of what you talked about in terms of 10xing ourselves.
Surely. So you can clone yourself 10 or more times when you go live and you present your authentic self, as both Bridgetti and Angeline shared the importance of. Don't try to be someone you're not. When you tell the truth and you're authentic, you never have to worry about what you say or how you present yourself. You can 10x yourself by going live, sharing your thoughts, your ideas, your passion, but have a plan to do so. So as Bridgetti said, you look organized and you look credible and authentic. Look into reciprocal relationships and collaborations with like-minded people. What can you do to help them get what they want? And they'll turn around and want to help you get what you want. And it might not be an even exchange, but that person you connect to might connect you to somebody else that brings you even more greater things. Delegate out what you can, whether it's administrative things or website stuff, so you enable yourself to serve, share, and shine your light throughout the world.
Excellent. Excuse me, I had something in my throat there for a moment. Lottie Hearn is reminding us. First of all, she says, "Thank you for presenting. Thank you for presenting tips today, all." So it's a big pleasure. And then she says that tomorrow they'll build on the 5 days live online training. And it's called Kickstart Your New Year with Lottie Hearn, Cheryl Piper. And it's about confidence on camera. What, why, how to use it to grow live for passion, purpose, business, to create your own style of impact, influence, interest, and income earnings via video and live. So that is what you look forward to tomorrow on the 5 days live. So please do tune in tomorrow with Lottie Hearn and Cheryl Piper for Confidence on Camera. And it'll be the same time again as today. So do tune in tomorrow. Stephen, are you going to join us for a moment on camera? Stephen has been busy in the background producing the show for today. So a huge big shout out again to Stephen for organizing. And if anyone is looking for a producer, Stephen is always available. Ask him. Stephen, I am hiring out your services.
I much appreciate it, Bridgetti. And congratulations to everybody who took part in the show today, especially Tina and Angeline and yourself and everybody who watched and commented and got the show, well, going really. And the information that you provided to people, hopefully they'll take that away and do something with it and actually improve their shows. That's what 5 days live is all about. It's about learning from people who do walk the walk on a daily basis on BeLive.tv, on Facebook. And if you're thinking about going live on Facebook, again, you can contact Bridgetti or Tina or Angeline, and they're more than willing to help you. So, from Wiltshire, England, I'll say goodbye.
I do have a
I'll be
question.
back in now. Sorry?
I do have a question, Stephen. If people wanted to talk to us on Twitch, are we going to be on Twitch after this?
We could be, if you wish.
Okay.
Let's hop over to an after party just in case.
I'm just wondering, we want to keep going, keep this party going.
Okay, just give me a
We don't
second.
want all this makeup to be for naught.
Give me a
I
second.
mean, I don't want to pressure you or anything to make it happen.
No,
but-
I understand that. And I'm just doing my best at the moment. I've got a
No
channel.
worries. I was just thinking
I'm gonna
about
copy
the
that.
party thing. When I think about, 10xing and inviting people into the living room, as I talked about it, I think about it as bringing people into a party. It's like if you're going to bring that person into your party, being, like Bridgetti said, warm, welcoming. You don't want, you want to include them. You want to catch them up on maybe what you were talking about a minute ago if they just popped in. And so basically, when you're live, when you have a show, you're putting on a party in a sense. And, you may be mid-conversation and somebody comes in to watch live. And so catch them up or do what it is that you would as if you're a party. You would introduce your friends. You would say whatever is going on, what the topic is, but basically what you're all talking about at that party or what's about. So I just thought that I'd throw that in since he said party. I don't know if we're going to be in the after party, but I hope so because I'm awake. I might as well.
Might as well. You're wide awake. Well, Stephen has posted the link there. So
Awesome.
again, thank you everyone for joining us live. If you're catching the show on the replay, thank you for watching the replay and please do share out the show. We had a lot of fun sharing our favorite tips and tricks with you about 10xing yourself. So from me, Bridgetti and Banda in Cape Town, South Africa, come and join us in the after party in Twitch. The link is posted in the comments. So from me in Cape Town, it's goodbye for now.
And for me, Angeline Longshore in Maui, Hawaii, aloha.
And for me, Tina VaLant in South Florida, I did want to give you a tip. Stephen has done a beautiful speaker carousel with links that you can connect with any of the speakers in Live for 5. So we'll see you over on Twitch.
All right.
Bye, everyone.